hear the music? Do we hear the music?
Thank you, God. Victory!
Let's go. I mean, it was the Rockets, but we're looking at the first dub of the Celtics season. And to celebrate, we've been waiting for this. This thing's been in the fridge for so long since the beginning of the year. It's pretty much colder than anything. We're cracking open the boom sauce in order to celebrate the Celtics win. I didn't want to drink tonight, but I'm glad the Celtics won, so we'll have a boom sauce. I will have a boom sauce. Cheers to anyone out there that is celebrating. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. There was times during that game where I thought maybe, just maybe, Celtics were going to blow that. They didn't. They didn't. They held on. They won it. And here we are, talking a Celtics victory for the first time this season. So let's go. Shout out to the C's. Welcome to the Celtics Live Postgame Show. If you have not hit that subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button and like up the stream for sure. And also, if you do want to skip the chat line, make sure to drop a super chat. It truly helps us out and helps growing the channel and whatnot. And we are grinding on the channel lately. But without no further ado, cheers. Let's go. All right, let's jump into the box score because we have player of the game. It's a Celtics dub, right? We have player of the game to talk about as well. But let's jump right into the box score here. Celtics take the, 107-97 game over the Houston Rockets. Jayson Tatum led the way, 31 points, 9 boards, 50% from the field. He started off real cold, like 1 of 5, I think, or 1 of 6 from 3. Finished off 4 of 11 from 3, so not the best percentage, but when you consider that he missed his first 5 or so, yeah, we're looking at a little bit of a ramp up here. Al Horford, 17 and 10. Dennis Schroeder, 18 and 5 and 5. And then our boy, a guy that we've never said anything negative about, Grant Williams. 18 points from Grant, 5 of 7 from 3. If that's the Grant we're going to get every single night, sign me the hell up. You'll never hear anything negative ever again, because that's a great game from him. But let's get to player of the game. Player of the game, shocker here. Jayson Tatum, first player of the game this season at 31 and 9 tonight, like I just said. And yeah, if you guys don't know how we do the player of the game here, we keep track of it and just kind of see who wins the most throughout the season. And it's not always going to be the guy that just drops 31 points. It's going to be the guy that kind of contributed in our eyes, to the game the most, you know what I mean? And obviously tonight I do think Jayson Tatum had a huge bounce back spot after, you know, playing pretty poorly opening night and then second game against Toronto as well. I think that's a pretty good player of the game to give him the nod on because, you know, like I said, he kind of bounced back from it and just deserves player of the game after dropping 31. There was a lot of guys that were super important. Dennis Schroeder, I'm sure we'll talk about. Al was super important, and Grant was super important to this win, but I don't think any were more important than JT. But all right, let's get into some of the chat here. AC saying Horford is the guy we needed this offseason. His presence changes a lot of things. And hey, hand up, like you guys know, if you're following in the offseason on the channel and whatnot, I said my first gut reaction to getting Al Horford was that you're going to get his presence, not his player. And I'm standing corrected into the season. Like, he's ridiculously important on court. It's not just about his presence, but his presence sure as hell is noticeable. And it seems like when he's playing well, the Celtics play well, which is so funny because I want to say 4 years ago or so, I did a whole blog on looking into when Al Horford scores like over 15 points. The Celtics have a ridiculously high win percentage. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to him. I mean, when he plays well, the Celtics are playing well. He was a plus 18. He had 10 boards, 2 offensive, 3 blocks, 3 steals, and 17 points. Didn't shoot the ball too well. He's 1 of 6 from 3, but definitely Al Horford was right up there in player of the game conversation. And yeah, seriously, guys, if you guys are tuning in late and you didn't hear the victory song, shame on you. You got to hit that notification bell so you guys can get in here for the victory drop of the sound at the beginning of the stream. Troy saying, let's go. Got the dub. Wongy saying, Grant Williams 3.0. The league ain't ready. Hey, what's Grant averaging this year? Because he's on fire. How can you deny it, right? How can someone even like me that would like to deny it, how can I deny it? He's averaging 10, 3, and 3 this year. I mean, I still see mistakes, but I'm fine with mistakes if the benefits outweigh those mistakes, right? And this year, Grant Williams is making less mistakes than last year, but he's certainly also doing way more on the positive side of things. So 100%. I am totally agreeing that Grant Williams looks like a completely different guy. And maybe it was the weight loss. Like that's hell. Maybe I should drop some pounds then because it'll completely change me. I'll become a better streamer and do better shows on the channel. But Grant Williams, man, hats off to him. Speaking of hats, we got our first victory hat here. The pink hat, the pink Celtics hat here. A nice, good look at it. All right, let's keep going here. Levi saying, great team win. What a game from Tatum. Yeah, 31 from him. And again, 31 we know he can get. 31 on 24 shots when he makes 50% of those. Like, that's what I like to see. And the fact that he took 13 more twos than he did threes, also something I like to see. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't just jack. AC says, Nesmith has not made a bucket yet. That's a concern. Yeah, and I don't know. He took 4 tonight, 4 threes, missed them all. There was that little moment at the end of the game. I almost thought that, like, you know, they were dribbling out the clock. I was like, Nesmith, if I were you, I'd probably come in there and just at least make a layup. You know, take the cap off the hoop there. But no, Nesmith's still yet to make a bucket, which is crazy because coming out of summer league and then preseason, oh man, people are all over his you-know-what too, right? And we thought that, oh my God, Aaron Nesmith is going to be like a savior to this team. He's got to step it up if that's the case. Like we've had conversations about him possibly starting and stuff. Yikes. He's so far from starting if this is the Nesmith we're getting, but we'll see. I'm not concerned with that 3 games in AC. You know what I mean? Like if he stinks and halfway through the year, it's going to be like, okay, like that's concerning. I'm not concerned with Nesmith yet because one, he doesn't have that responsibility bestowed upon him yet. Like that isn't the biggest deal in the world yet. But I do think Nesmith, like as much as people wanted to crown him in the offseason, talk about him starting and stuff, it's like to not have a bucket gets a little concerning, I guess, if it continues. Guys, thank you everyone for tuning in so far. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And if you do feel generous and want to skip the chat line, make sure to drop a super chat. Much appreciated if you do, and you'll get your shout out and everything as well. AC saying I had to give it to Grant, the player of the game. Maybe if Jayson Tatum had like 24 points, it would be Al Horford or Grant Williams. But when Tatum goes for 30 plus in a bounce back spot in a game in which, you know, he was like in 2 games in a row now, he kind of played subpar. If that was the case, and he goes and, you know, doesn't really bounce back like with capital B, then Grant or Al probably gets player of the game. And again, if you're just tuning in, Jayson Tatum, player of the game tonight. We give these out when the Celtics do actually win. 31 points, 9 boards from him. But yeah, I mean, I would think about giving it to Grant if Jayson Tatum didn't go for 30. If he went for like 25, then it's a strong consideration. I'll be completely honest. AC saying boom sauce victory. Evan saying what's up. Kevin saying didn't take me long to fall in love again with Al. Me too. Like I was on the opposite thought of, you know, Al Horford still got a lot of game in him. I thought, no, he didn't play last year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he got sat. Like, I know you might think, oh, it's because they wanted to tank. It's like, or he has nothing left. Al Horford literally is the same player they had a few years ago. You know what I mean? And that's been a couple seasons, you know, a few seasons. And nothing's changed. So 1,000,000% Al Horford is going to contribute to this team. And I'll say something. I don't mind that double big lineup. And here's the one thing. I've said it before, right? It's like you can't start 2 bigs because then what do you do once you go to your bench, right? It's like Cantor. It's Grant Williams. Grant Williams, the way that he's playing, and I know he's an undersized big and has a tough time sometimes, but if he plays like this, then you can start the double big lineup because there's not this like terribly bad sort of backup that you're going to. You know what I mean? Greg saying Al Horford has been better than I thought he was. Been hoping he can be like that. He was years ago with us when we were in the conference finals. I botched reading that, but you guys got the point, right? Greg, I think we're on the same page. Deshaun saying I'm not impressed. Why do Celtics keep letting rookies go crazy on him? First Scotty Barnes, now Jalen Green. I mean, Jalen Green is filthy, right? It's 30 points from him, 4 boards, 3 assists. He had that dunk. He was 8 of 10 from 3. It's a good point. You know, Deshaun, like, you're not wrong being like, how the hell do we just continue to let these rookies and guys that don't even know what the NBA feels like to go off? Forget the rookie part. The Celtics always have a guy that goes off against them, right? You can't play the Celtics and have someone that just kind of like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna score 15. You can score 18. You score 20. BS like that. No, when the Celtics play you, there's one guy on your team. You have like a 1 in 12 chance of going for 1,000,000 points. That's how the Celtics roll, and it's annoying as hell. Evan saying, I'm not feeling JT's performance. He took some real bad shots. I mean, they were terrible. Yeah, and that's fine. And that might not be the best, but if you're going to take terrible shots and still end up 50% from the field, then I can't talk like that. At the end of the day, you look at that number and say, you know what? Like, though you could consider them terrible, and even if all 12 of the ones that he missed were terrible, you make 50% of your shots. I can't get too upset about it. Like, yeah, Jayson Tatum, I would have loved him to make every single shot and go for 60 or something like that. But if you're going to shoot 50% from the field and drop 30 points, that sounds good to me. You know what I mean? Like, in the moment, I can agree with you, Evan, in the sense of, like, you know, you see that, you're like, what are you doing? You're shooting that shot again? But then at the end of the day, you look at what the output was there, and the outcome, I should say, is 12 of 24. So, yeah. I mean, I agree. Some of those shots are terrible, but end of day, end of performance, results-based, it worked today. Wangi saying Al Horford's out here moving like Spider-Man. Greg saying, I don't know why we got Josh Richardson if we had to give us Moses Brown. I don't think he's been that good. I think Josh Richardson has been incredibly underrated. Like, he plays deep. He's maybe the best defender on the year so far behind the big men. You know what I mean? Offense, I still want some offense to click. We saw the 3-ball work for him. Was it Toronto opening night? What game was it? He didn't play opening night because of the migraine, right? So Toronto, he had 12 points. I think he had 4 threes or something. I am still willing to give him time. Like, I think he's getting a little bit better, getting more comfortable. I wouldn't say that it's like, Josh Richardson sucks yet. Like, that's not a bust of a trade at all to me. But I'm biased. I'm riding him. Like, I really am rooting for him. I think that he's going to be a good player on this team. So maybe I'm totally biased. All right, we lost our spot here. Here we go. Gear saying, how we doing? Cheers, Gear. We did pop a boom sauce for the win. We've been keeping this in the fridge. It's ice cold, so we're pumped for this. JC says, I can't believe I wanted Brandon Clark over Grant Williams. Yeah, Grant for MVP. Evan saying, so far, Aaron Nesmith has proven me right. Tiffany saying, Al should have never left us. He was good, and even Grant. Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about Grant Williams. I've never said anything bad about him, right? Never said anything bad about Grant Williams. But, hey, if he's going to play like this, I'm not going to say bad things about him. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a shtick that I hate Grant Williams, but if he's going to make the Celtics better, then hell, whatever, I'm sticking to it. All right, we gotta figure this out. We're all over the chat here. It is, it's skipping back and forth. Maureen saying, thank you, Al. Evan saying, hot take, the C's are playing better without JB and JT on the floor. Maybe, I don't know. Playing better, maybe, but I don't know if you get that when it's not the Rockets. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to need star power when you go up against any of the good teams. But in terms of, like, team basketball and all that, yeah, I see Jayson Tatum get the ball, and it's kind of an ISO. You can do that against the Rockets. You can do that against the Rockets where you take him out, and then you're kind of playing, like, just team basketball, and Grant Williams goes for 18 points and hits an open 3. Like, that's great. I do think you need a little bit of star power when it comes to beating the good teams, because as much as people might not like it or anything like that, in the NBA, those big games do come down to a my star versus your star. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to take the best shot? Maybe that's not the best way basketball's played. Maybe it's been better in the past. But that's where we are, you know what I mean? Like, if this is a Nets-Celtics series, it's coming down to the wire. Celtics are giving it to Jayson Tatum, and the Nets are giving it to Kevin Durant, with James Harden and then Jaylen Brown right on their hip. Brian saying, might have to add Grant to my fantasy team. Matt saying, the real test tomorrow. It's going to be, I love that Charlotte team. I have for a couple years. I love that Charlotte team. It's funny because they have a few old Celtics, huh? But I really like that team. They beat the Nets today. Both of them playing on a back-to-back. Charlotte is, they what do they have, a 4 o'clock start today? So that might be in a little bit better of a situation, and they're at home. But we'll see. I mean, that's going to be a good test. You know, if we flash up the box score again, like, we're on a back-to-back here. Jayson Tatum played 37 minutes. Horford, 30. Robert Williams, 27. Dennis Schroeder, 33. Marcus Smart, 35. Grant, 30. Like, a lot of these guys played a lot of minutes. I know it's early in the year, so maybe that's okay. But that's not the best. That's not the best for a back-to-back sort of first leg of it. You know what I mean? Especially when you thought you'd probably be cleaning up the Rockets. Somehow that game got a little bit closer than it should have been. JC says, Nesmith plays very tight and nervous 100%. You can tell when Nesmith's about to miss a shot, like, right on the release. You know what I mean? Because it's not even close. That shows that he's nerves, tight, everything like that. Let's see. New sound saying early Be Smooth raid. All right, we got another Be Smooth raid here. Shout out to Be Smooth, guys. If you're not tuning in during the game when he's doing his watch parties, B, I think you topped like 90 something today. I didn't see it. Maybe hit triple digits if I clicked off for a second. But yeah, guys, make sure to go check out B Smooth. If you guys don't know him already, you should. Ubi says Grant Williams is Draymond 2.0. Let's go. Gear says I can see why Grant skipped preseason, but he put in work in on his shot. Yeah, he did 100%. CG saying Marcus Smart is a sixth man. I mean, Dennis Schroeder's playing better than Marcus Smart. And I know a lot of people haven't liked what they've seen out of Schroeder and whatnot, but if you compare him directly to Marcus Smart, I think that Dennis Schroeder's setting other guys up and playing a little bit better than Marcus Smart. They both had 5 assists today. Dennis Schroeder had 4 turnovers, so like that's not a point guard-esque type number. But Dennis Schroeder looks like he's driving to the lane and then figuring out what to do from there. You know what I mean? Like setting someone else up or taking the layup. Like I like that out of a point guard. And Marcus Smart just hasn't really grasped that point guard role yet. And that's, I think that everyone probably is in agreement with that. He's had a couple games where he looks good. Even tonight, like 8 points, 6 boards, 5 assists. That seems like it's good, but you're watching Marcus Smart, and there's something a little bit clunky about the offense starting with him every single time. This is kind of in the same note here. Steven saying Dennis needs to understand his role. It seems too aggressive, but I'm fine when he's too aggressive if, Jaylen Brown's not playing. Like no one's accounting for Grant Williams to hit, 5 threes tonight. So Jayson Tatum, Dennis Schroeder, I'm fine with an aggressive Schroeder if they don't have like their second best scorer out there, like they needed, weird as that is to say, they only won this game by 10 points. They needed somehow 31 from Tatum and then 17 from Horford, 18 from Schroeder, and 18 from Grant Williams. You know what I mean? Like that's asking a lot on any given night to get 18 out of Schroeder, 18 out of Williams, and then a double-double out of Horford. And then 30 for Tatum. You know what I mean? Like they had to pull some things out of the hat just to beat this Houston team. So I'm fine with him being aggressive in the right situations. That makes sense, Steven? Evan saying start Pritchard at point and Smart off guard. I mean, I like the way Pritchard plays, and it's weird because he looks like he's playing okay in there. He had 6 points tonight. He had 2 threes, but he only played 15 minutes tonight. It's weird to me on a back-to-back especially. Marcus Smart, 35 minutes. Schroeder, 33 minutes. Pritchard, 15 minutes. That seems like a little bit of a miss to me when you're trying to think back-to-back minded. Like, I don't know. And maybe I'm reading into it too much, and this is probably just me thinking of a topic now, I guess, that I can ramble about. But I'm wondering if it's the new coach sort of, Udoka might not understand the rotations of a back-to-back. He should. He's been an assistant for forever, but it's like you'd like to see more minutes out of Pritchard tonight so that Smart and Schroeder are fresher for tomorrow. AC says Celtics have been leading the league in blocks every time an opponent goes to the rim. I feel like he's ended up in the third row. 6 blocks tonight. Robert Williams, Robert Williams had 1. Al Horford with 3. Tatum with 1. And where do we got? Josh Richardson with 1 as well. See, Josh Richardson. Stuff that you don't necessarily notice on the stat sheet. All right, we got to catch up here. If you do want to skip the chat, make sure to send that super chat in. Any amount gets your comment answered right away, and it's much, much, much appreciated as we grind on the channel. Guys, with the grind, we're doing the NBA picks videos and whatnot too. Man, oh man. I'm getting up at like 4:30/5 a.m. to get the lines and get the videos recorded and whatnot. It's a grind this NBA season, but those picks videos having so much fun. I think we're 16-11 this year. So around 60% and up a few units. So definitely good so far in our picks. He's saying this team won't reach its full potential unless Schroeder starts and Smart returns being a 6th man. They do, and I know we had a negative comment about Schroeder just a second ago, but I really do think Schroeder looks like more of a point guard than Smart does. I'm not saying Schroeder looks like the most important player on this team or, the best point guard I've ever seen, but he looks like he's willing to penetrate a little bit better than Smart. And where Smart still taking those threes, like I definitely don't want Schroeder taking threes, but Marcus Smart 5 threes, like I don't need 5 threes from Marcus Smart, and Schroeder and Marcus Smart in particular, like they don't need to combine for 9 threes either, 100%. B Smooth saying, yo, what is up, B Smooth? Again, one last shout out to B Smooth as well. Like guys, go check him out, 1,000,000%, and I'm sure a lot of you guys subbed to both of us, so I probably don't even have to tell you that, but I gotta say it. AC says, Ev, you said it perfect. Well, thank you. I'll cheers to that. I don't even need to read the rest of your comment, AC. You said, Ev, you said it perfect. Don't I always? AC says, Ev, you said it perfect. The double big lineup is good, but the lack of depth at the position hurt. Cantor and Fernando need to get some time or go get Giles. Yeah, I wanted Giles, and And there's a lot of hate on that video. I mean, maybe not a lot, but I had a couple people DM me and be like, you don't even know Giles. Like, he stinks. And I'm like, well, is he better than, like, Bruno Fernando? If yes, then he could be a big on this team. You know what I memean? Like, I'm not saying Harry Giles comes here and it's like he's going to drop 20 and 15 every single night. But we're going to get to the same conversation as we were last year. It's like, well, is that guy at least a hair better than, you know, player X? Then if he is, then bring him in at a low risk sort of situation. Yeah, Grant with 18 coming in from Isaac. ASMR saying, be smooth raid. Yeah, be smooth raid. I love to see it, guys. Shout out to Be Smooth. I did say one last shout out, and then I gave him another one. Be Smooth working his way in here. I love it. Darius saying, start Schroeder. Grant was awesome tonight. Yeah, Grant was. Wow saying, Jalen is a beast. He went for 30. Like, and he's so explosive. He can shoot the ball, too. He's crazy. He's good. Levi saying, Dennis is doing fine, and I don't mind that aggressiveness from him. In the right senses. I'm with you there. Evan saying, but my thing, if you get 12 better shots or someone else, but back to Tatum, that's totally true. When I say, like, and I'm just saying that outcome. So, Evan, you're right in that sense, because then that is breaking it down shot by shot, which I can't disagree with. You could say, oh, you can get 12 better shots. I'm only saying I can't harp on it or get mad at Jayson Tatum taking 12 terrible shots if he's still going to end up shooting 50% from the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm totally in on the boat of, okay, well, if we're to eliminate the bad shots and they're all good shots, like all of a sudden he's making more or making better things happen. But end of day sort of situation, it doesn't bother me if he's going to end up shooting 50%. Like, I totally get well, it could be better. That's 100% fair if he's taking bad shots. I'm just saying it's not like the biggest downfall. Is that I think I'm making sense here. Josh has shown, this is coming from MGM, Josh has shown he contributes even when he can't score. It's at least a rotational player. Yeah, I mean, we don't even know what Moses Brown would have done on this team. And I was excited. Like, I was super, super excited for Moses Brown. But Josh Richardson, like, I think he'll be fine. He plays really, really good defense. Really good defense. And that, like, doesn't get picked up on by people. And all of a sudden, you know, he's going to have some nights where I think he gives you 20. Like, I truly believe that. He just doesn't seem like he's totally in a rhythm yet. Greg says, watch, next game we'll get a womp womp Grant game. Probably. I mean, he's not going 18 again, is he? Is he? If Grant Williams drops 18 plus points next game, which is tomorrow, I'll shotgun right away live on stream. Boom. Right off the rip. I'll say hello, I'll do my intros, and then say, hey, we got to do a shotgun. If he goes 18 plus. Thread saying, I like the deal we got Al on now compared to what he would have been potentially. Yeah. Darius saying we need team basketball regardless. The offense is to chuck it as soon as you're open. This offense is just to. Yeah, it is still like this team still needs to let themselves sort of get in a rhythm with each other still, because I feel like they don't seem like I don't know how to say it. They don't seem like they're playing efficient basketball whatsoever. Like, at all. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like they're grinding, like, preseason. We thought that was great, how historically great these, like, and fun watching these preseason games were. That ain't good, though. The reason these games were close, just like the Knicks game that they ended up actually losing, like they didn't even deserve to be double overtime almost. Like, they're so clunky and nothing looks smooth, and the Knicks were almost torching you up, right? So it's like, it's weird to be like, oh, well, you know, these have been such close games. It's like, yeah, but they're close because you've let them be close. Or, you know, they're blowouts like the Toronto because you let it be a blowout. The Celtics have been beating themselves just as much as other teams have been beating them in the preseason and in the regular season now, as we're 1-2. Celtics did just as much to lose those games as the other teams did to win. And that's because I hope the simple answer to that about, you know, need to play better team basketball and the offense looks like it's gotta change up a little bit. It's like, hopefully that's because it's a brand new team. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for, I guess. Guys, there's way more people in here than that have liked the video yet. So make sure you do hit that like button if you're in here, if you're enjoying the show. We're here live after every single Celtics game. Make sure to hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button. Then hit that bell too, because you want to get notified when we go live or drop a video and everything like that. So make sure to hit that bell notification as well. Let's see if we can get that like number up. If you don't hit the like button, you hate me. And if you hate me, you get a womp womp. Yeah. And you're the biggest Lakers fan in the world if you don't hit the like button. All right. AC says, wow, the Hornets laid the boom on Brooklyn. Harden lost without the leg kick. Yeah. Santiago saying, been a Miles Bridges fan since his days at MSU. He's good, too. All right. Let's skip ahead just a little bit in the chat. I got to get a little bit more recent. Evan says, here's the thing. Marcus Smart isn't a point guard. And he isn't a true point guard, but he was a point guard and has been a point guard in the past and run the offense in the past. You know what I mean? So totally true. He's not a point guard, but I think he can do it. Like, I really don't think Marcus Smart is like, it's like out of his realm of possibilities to be able to run an offense. Like, we've seen him in the last few years, like, become a way better playmaker than he ever was when he first came into the league. You know? So it's like, okay, all right, well, where's that sort of playmaking this year? At the end of last, I should say for most of last year, and then this year, we haven't really seen it. And I thought maybe he'd get back to that sort of vibe of, oh, well, now I don't need to try and shoot a million threes a game. Why? Oh, because I got my money. Like, he has his extension. Does he need to prove the NBA world? Does he need to prove the NBA world wrong? No, because he got his money. But it's I don't think you're wrong there about him not being a true point guard. I don't think the Celtics, other than maybe Peyton Pritchard, who also likes to shoot too, the Celtics don't have that facilitating point guard. And that could be an issue, you know, in the long run. Like, Dennis Schroeder penetrates and then looks to pass, but he's still going to want to score and want the ball in his hands a decent amount. Crimson saying, hit the like for the first win of the year. That's what it is, guys. Hit that like button for the first win of the year. We did open the boom sauce, and we're drinking it for that first win, so make sure to hit that like button. Let's see. This is a good point. Deshaun says, Al makes it so clear how bad Tristan Thompson was. Yeah, like, Al's contributing 100% more than Tristan Thompson. And I like what Tristan Thompson brought to the team. Al Horford, by far, blows that away. Steven saying, Ev, that's what I'm saying about Dennis and Smart. Maybe I misspoke saying aggressive. They both looking to score instead of playmaking. So, yes, right back to that point. That's what it is. Aggressive is fine from Schroeder because I think he's a way better ball handler than Marcus Smart. And I think he's less likely to go and do something like stupidly crazy. You know what I mean? I know it sounds weird, but Marcus Smart, I think, sometimes just goes crazy and like thinks highlight versus good play. But Schroeder, I'm fine with being aggressive. I think a better way to say it is like if he's thinking score first, then that's not point guard like, and both of them are doing that. Big MGM saying Paul Pierce is literally the same way when he took shots that were not good in terms of shot selection, but if he has good efficiency and scores well, you live with it. That's a good way to put it. You live with it. Like, you'll 100%. You'll live like a spry young chicken if Jayson Tatum averages 50% from the field. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. You obviously don't want to have bad shots, but I think it's way harder to like limit bad shots. Like, that you're gonna have those at some point because Jayson Tatum also makes bad shots. You know. Darius says Pierce also got to the rim when his shot wasn't falling. He didn't keep chucking. That's also fair. A little bit different. Tatum's got a little bit more of that Kobe mentality, or I should say, based on what we've seen this year, like that Dion Waiters mentality of whatever he says. Like Dion Waiters says, like, I'd rather go 0 for 30 than not shoot or something like that. Wild. Brian said, I wish we had Moses Brown instead of Jay Rich. I think people are going to start to like Jay Rich toward the end of the year. Like, I really do think that, like, sometimes, or at some point, I should say, you're going to be like, oh, you know what? He's actually really, he's going to be good. Like, he'll be good for this team 100%. Why did Brown not play? Jalen had like knee tendonitis or something, and they're hoping, so he's I don't want to say fine, but long-term he's all right. They're hoping that he plays tomorrow in the back-to-back. So it kind of just made sense. You don't want to have him either re-aggravate it or, you know, if you look at these two teams, Houston and Charlotte, who's the better team? Charlotte. So you're going to want to play him against Charlotte, not Houston. And shout out to Deshaun. He donated $4.99 through Super Chat. And his question was, oh, no question. Well, shout out to Deshaun. There it is. Let me find one of Deshaun's recent comments here. Does he have one? I'm all over the place with chat. But shout out to you, Deshaun. Thank you so much for the Super Chat. That is how you skip the line, guys. If you do have a question you want me to answer right away, make sure to hit that Super Chat. And it helps me out a ton. You guys know that. And I'm appreciative of it every single time, like 100%. If you guys are feeling generous, hit that Super Chat. We're grinding on the channel, and I love seeing that Super Chat come in through you guys because it tells me, you know, it's the appreciation of the grind. And like, I'm doing this because it's fun as hell. Like, getting up at 4:30 to put out my NBA picks videos, like, okay, I'm getting 4 hours of sleep a night, if that, right? But it's like I wake up being like, all right, let's get this video out. That's awesome. Like, that's great. Like, it's tough to do, but I love it. So appreciate that. That's a long-winded thank you to you guys, but a big thank you right now to Deshaun for that $5. Appreciate you, man. Oh man, Brian, I don't know about this. I can see it. But he says Grant sometimes reminds me of Pierce. Maybe some things he does could be like a Pierce later in his career type play. I can give you that, but I don't know. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean because you don't truly mean what you're saying. You know what I mean? CG saying point guard's a problem. It is. We just don't have the total true point guard on this roster. Evan saying, let me put it this way. If Tatum takes 24 good shots and misses 12 good shots, then I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I think that NBA players, though, you're going to have bad shots. So, like, you are right by definition of this, right? Like, if this was a debate, it's like, no, you're right. Like, you'd want 24 good shots. 100%. I'm just saying, like, you do live with it. I think when we saw that in the chat, like, I think that that's a fair way of putting it. I don't want 12 bad shots from Tatum, but, like, I live with it if he shoots 50% still because that's his rhythm. He's in the flow of the game, yada, yada, yada. Gear says, do you guys think Romeo or Nesmith should be getting more minutes? What do you guys think? Because Romeo, to me, like, I hope he's not going to be injured for a long time now, but Nesmith does not look good. Nesmith looks just like he looked last year at times where, you know, he'd get the ball and it's like, oh, he shot that, but that thing might break the backboard. It's coming in hot, or it's going to be short, or it's going to be really long. Like, he doesn't look like he's in a flow of things, whereas Romeo goes out there and kind of looks unfazed. Obviously out tonight with a calf, but looks unfazed. Like, Romeo looks like he might be ready to play versus Nesmith, 100%. Bai says Brown didn't play because it was his birthday today. Hey, fair enough. Marcus saying, told y'all Smart should not run point guard. Yeah, 3 games in, I'm starting to lean that way. Like, I thought Smart was going to be fine at the point guard position. 3 games in, I'm not feeling that way anymore, but I don't know if 3 games is enough to definitively say it, right? Brian saying, hate how every young player, we talked about this already too. Hate how every young player's a career night. 30 points from Green, 70 from Booker, 21 from Barnes. Yeah, it's annoying as hell. It is. Everybody on the team, it's like, or everyone on, if you're playing against the Celtics again, everyone on your team has a chance of just going off. One guy on your team is going to have his career night. It's like, it just is so true. CJ saying 20-game win streak starts now. Steven saying, everyone does have to remember that this is the first time in a while the Celtics have a brand new team. 100%. MGM saying, at Evan, at him. So, okay, I thought you were saying my name's Evan too, and I get confused, but I do like having another Evan in here because we're stronger together. Brian saying, I wish we were able to get JJ Redick. I mean, that'd be huge. Or Seth Curry would be huge on this team. Like, oh, I mean, come on. I didn't like Seth Curry a couple years ago. He's made a difference on that Philly team. And did he have a big game tonight too, right? I think he had a big game tonight. That was one of my picks, the over in that game. It did hit by a couple points, but hey, there we go. That's money for us. We cashed. Greg saying, I want Pritchard to get more minutes when Smart's doing team dirty with his stink play at times. Here it is. I'm going to pop this up again, guys. This is a back-to-back, so this isn't directly answering. I do feel that way too, Greg. But if you look at, hey, we got a back-to-back tomorrow. The second half of the back-to-back is a better team, an undefeated team. Yes, they're also on a back-to-back, but if you just think about it like, okay, they're the better team. Let's focus on that game. I'm not saying throw away this Houston game, but running Schroeder out there for 33 minutes, running Smart out there for 35 minutes, that's a lot of minutes when you have a game tomorrow that you have to travel for, and you have another point guard who plays well. Another point guard 15 minutes from him. It's like, I think you could have managed that maybe a little bit better. That's nitpicking. Like I can admit that. You know what I mean? I'm really nitpicking at that rotational miss, if we want to call it that. But I think it's a fact nonetheless. Whether or not I'm nitpicking or whether or not it matters that much, it's still a fact that I think that could have, or I think it's a fact that it should have been managed just a little bit more. And I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference. These guys still have fresh legs. 3 games into the season. I know it's not that big of a deal. It's not like we're talking about totally injury-prone Schroeder, Smart, Pritchard. Like, it's not like that. But I don't know. You just run Marcus Smart 35 minutes against a Rockets team. It's like I think you could have done better, I guess. Greg says, it's not that I don't like Richardson. I knew he was good at defense. High on Moses Brown. I think that guy can be like Robert Williams. Yeah, and that's totally fair, too. Like, Moses Brown never played a dribble for the Celtics, right? Never even put on a jersey. But potential filled, like, up the wazoo. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't deny if someone, like you're saying, Greg, was kind of like, hey, like, no, I wanted Moses Brown, not because he, hadn't shown anything in the NBA, because of what I thought he could be. That's totally fair. Like, I can't argue that. But I think that the Celtics team, I'm going to be honest, has enough gambles on their team. Romeo Langford, Aaron Nesmith, you know what I mean? Like, they have enough gambles on their team. The guy that went for 18 tonight, he's still sort of a not an effective, 10-plus point type guy every single night. Is this year, but not always. They have a lot of gambles on their team. I think getting Jay Rich made it way more of a sort of, hey, like, no, we know what he is. And maybe it's going to take him a little while. 7 points tonight, didn't shoot the ball too well, had a decent amount of defensive impact, I would say. But maybe it takes him a little while to get going. But I do really think that he's more of a proven and less of a gamble type NBA player. Deshaun saying, gotta set the tone. Let's support the channel. Yeah, guys, if you do want to support the channel, make sure to send that super chat. You'd skip the chat line right away, and obviously you'd be supporting the channel. I thank you guys in advance. I hate pleading, for super chats, but it is definitely the easiest way to support the channel. I truly appreciate everything you guys, every ounce of support. Hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing the video, super chatting if you do. This YouTube has been a grind. It's become like my little baby I want to coach through. We got a couple other people working on it, right? But I'm publishing daily content and whatnot. I love it, though. It's like, it's my new motivation. So I do love it, and I do appreciate all your support. Brian says, I need to go back to the iPad. Yeah, the chat, I've been thinking about the chat and how to keep up with it, because every single time, if I've explained this, so I have it on my screen right in front of me. I used to have it on the iPad right here, and I could kind of buzz through it, but also it would hold where I was on the chat, right? Now, every single time there's a new comment, it sends the chat to the bottom. I have to scroll up and find where I was. My reading skills are definitely getting way better than the first grade reading level that they have been in my life. but it's tough. My scroll finger's getting really powerful too. I don't know. There's some benefits to this. Brian saying Ricky Rubio or a Ricky Rubio type player would be nice. I think so too. Evan said, I've been saying it all season, trade Nesmith. I mean, he could be a trade piece. MT saying, my man Ev, smash that like button. Also, Romeo playing fearless because he knows he's got nothing to lose at this point. Then that's good. I want more guys to do that. I want more players to play like that. Like, if Nesmith could just have an F it mentality, and when I say that, I mean, like, just don't care if you mess up. I'm not saying just huck it at every given moment, but if he could have, like, an F it mentality, like, hey, let's just go play basketball, then I'm in on that. Greg says you can play them at different times if they do the same, the production twice. Yeah, I mean, you can play them both at the same times. They can play off each other. They can also sort of stagger their minutes, and if they both produce, then they both produce. Steven says, I'd trade Dennis for a Ricky in a heartbeat. I'm not like totally against that, but I also, if we're talking contracts too, I don't know Ricky Rubio's contract, but the only reason I would be fine with trading Dennis Schroeder is because of that contract situation. He's not here next year. Definitely not. Bai says Moses shot 37% layups last season. Yeah, that's probably a little low for a big man his size. Robert says, is Pritchard looking good or needs more work? Pritchard definitely needs more work, but I think he looks good. Like, to me, he plays, and you look at the stats. He played 15 minutes tonight, 6 points, 33% from the field, 40% from three. He had 2 boards, 3 assists. Like, that's just, like, that's okay, and we want okay. Like, that's fine to be able to turn to a Peyton Pritchard and trust him. I'm wondering why he didn't play more tonight. AJ says, I wish Peyton gets more minutes. He needs to get his groove back. Maybe his nose is bothering him. Maybe. Brian saying LaMelo's going to have a career night. And then see, Brian says, you should do a fantasy draft for a video. Yeah, that'd be cool. It's a good idea. Mr. Relevant says, Moses Brown got 23 boards against that one last time. Remember, yeah, didn't he have 19 boards at halftime? Right? All right. I think we're skipping. We're getting up to the chat here. We're getting up. Steven says, LaMelo might go off or Bridges. Yeah, I mean, or it's going to be like a Kelly Oubre or Terry. I know Terry missed tonight's game, but maybe he was a game-time decision, right? So maybe he's in a similar boat as Jalen, like he's going to play. The thing is, when we say, hey, so many young guys go off against the Celtics, and then you go and play the Hornets, they're filled with young guys. You know what I mean? Like that team is such a fun team. They have PJ Washington. Ish Smith isn't young, but I feel like he always kills the Celtics. Bridges, LaMelo, like Kelly Oubre, I feel like plays so well against the Celtics at times too. It's like, that's a good team. That's a good team. I really do think that's like, if I was a Charlotte fan, I'm like loving things right now. Ubi saying that too. Hayward revenge game incoming. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Wangi says LaMelo double. Yeah, I mean, LaMelo, I feel like he can do so much, and that shouldn't be dropping any jaws, right? Like, we know LaMelo can do so much, but that's the type of guy that, maybe he doesn't go for 40 against the Celtics, but weirdly he could be like and I'm not even kidding, like he could drop like 18 assists on you, and it's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like he's so crafty And this team has sort of been, like I said, clunky at times and not firing on all cylinders, not very efficient. Like, LaMelo's just going to go and do something crazy. Do something crazy. But Hayward's playing well too. I don't think he shot the ball too well today. Let me pull up their box score. Hayward, I think, yeah, he had 8.6 assists. So he didn't play too well. Bridges had 32. That's what really propelled that. I was watching that because we had the under in that game, and that, I mean, that just easily hit. That was the easiest under of my life. But Hayward's having a good year, right? Hayward's averaging 17, so he's averaging 18.6 assists and 3 boards. That team's good, man. And if they're not good, say they're 3-0 now, right? And they don't end up being very good. That's just a fun team, like a fun team. Logan saying lots of people just go crazy on the Celtics. Thread saying we need Lonzo. I would take Lonzo. The way he's played, I mean, I will say it's super early in the year, right? But Lonzo looks like he's gonna do. What do you have, a triple-double last game? Was it? Like, he looks like he's going to do some damage with that Bulls team. Really. Because we don't see Marcus Smart doing that damage, or even Schroeder right now. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if all of a sudden we see Lonzo Ball in that sort of, like, conversation of, like, one of the better I guess I'm getting ahead of myself there, but, like, one of the better point guards in the league. Because he got so much better last year, and he's on a better team now. Like, I think that Bulls team's really good. Levi's saying it will be a fun game for sure, and I look forward to the challenge. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun. Let's see. Bai says Terry always drops like 30 whenever I play against Charlotte on my career. I miss that, man. I miss him so much. Miss him 100%. James saying great picks. Yeah, guys, we are doing. If you guys don't watch those videos, even if you're not a gambler, go ahead and check it out. You know, you see it. See if I like doing the videos of taking my NBA picks, because it's fun to kind of hold myself accountable, and I do consider myself very good at it. Pat myself on the back there. But, you know, we're rocking at, I think it's 16-11. Only 2 games are in. We're 2 for 2 tonight so far, but we do have a couple more out there and a few player props as well. So definitely check those videos out. Big MGM saying Lonzo's a very skilled, and he's getting better. He's very skilled point guard, and he's getting better. He's getting so much better. Like, I hated him. I thought he stunk, and his little shot, like, that he shot like this. Like, I used to not like him at all. No, he's a legit, like, you are a Lonzo hater if you still don't think Lonzo Ball's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't acknowledge that Lonzo Ball's actually good, it's because you have, like, this preconceived notion and you want to die on that hill, because he's good. He's good. He had a good year last year. He's now on a team that I truly believe has, like, a lot of potential. I think that that he's going to do some wonders there. Thread saying Lonzo is literally our perfect point guard. I've been saying it for at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah, see, I'm late to the game. People said that to me last year about, would you trade Kemba for Lonzo? And I said no. Now I think you do that, right? Like, I was clearly wrong on that one. I defended Kemba way too long. Like, once I realized that that we got sort of to the point of, this just isn't working. Like Kemba experiment, like, it worked the first year. I think he kind of got a bad rap with the injuries and whatnot. You know, didn't get a fair shake. But then I got to the point, I was like, oh yeah, Kemba, no, that makes sense. Like, seeing what Al Horford's doing for the team, weirdly enough, Al Horford's already contributed more than Kemba would have by this point of the year. You know what I mean? Like, Kemba was gone some games. He was injured. Al Horford seems like he's going to be durable and help this team. I think Kemba should have been way better for this team, like he was year 1. But I don't know. We'll see. Where were we here? Late saying that lineup where Pritchard first went in without Smart and Schroeder turned the game around. Yeah. So I just wanted him to play more tonight. Really. Oh man, I lost myself big time. We're trying to play this one out here. Brian says, I want that John Wall and Wood trade to happen. Christian Wood's so good. Just rhymed. No big deal. I'm a rapper. Steven says, James Bouknight is a rookie for Charlotte. Watch out for him in the years to come. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about him. Let me pull up his stats. He must not have played that much. He's averaging 0.5 rebounds per game. Yeah. Where did he go to school? UConn? Brian saying Terry's probably going to come into the arena wearing a Bledsoe jersey. I love that. Levi says Juancho needs some more minutes, but hopefully we see him soon. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, even a night like tonight, he didn't play. You know, it's sometimes these rotations are weird to me because I think Cantor should be at least getting some run sometimes. You know, like was it the Knicks? Yeah, the Knicks. I thought that Cantor could have definitely played. I definitely could have played a little bit when we played the Knicks, and obviously that double overtime throw. I think that we could have seen Cantor help a little bit there, and he barely played. But to see like Jabari, Cantor, Hernan Gomez, and Fernando not play tonight and not even get a little bit of a run, maybe they're going to play tomorrow. Maybe they're saving some of those guys. I'm not sure. Only a few more comments, guys. We are going to close down shop pretty soon. Got to get up early tomorrow. But, yeah, we are going to close down shop pretty soon. We'll just read a couple more here. Gear says, watch out for Kai Jones. He will be a beast in a few years. Mark my words. It's a great thing about these streams. You guys can come in here, and I read all chat, at least most of it. And you guys can stamp your claim. Brian says Bruno needs more minutes. Yeah, like give these guys at least a little bit of a shot. That's what I want. Like if you give Jabari, because that's the guy that I've campaigned for more minutes, right? If you give Jabari minutes and he stinks, and it's like, okay, well then bench him. But you're not giving him a chance. Same thing with Bruno. And I think that both of those guys, same with Juancho too, you know, I have a feeling even if Grant was playing poorly today, we wouldn't have seen those guys. You know, and maybe we're missing something behind the scenes where they're kind of on the outside looking in. But I don't know. I'm looking for a little bit of a run. You know what I mean? Or it could have been that Ime realized they didn't need to run any of those guys because Grant was playing well. Like maybe if Grant stunk, I'm wrong, and then he would have played them. Brian says, what do you think about Yam? I think that Yam looks pretty good. Like he's clearly, I don't think totally there yet, like in terms of being here, but I think, you know, when you get to the top of your league overseas type of thing, you're pretty much ready to come here and play, you know? And maybe it does take a little bit of an adjustment. You know, if you look at the two games, like I think the NBA seems like a little bit more fast-paced and physical. I know they let you play over in the EuroLeague and stuff, but whereas opposed to like everything's a foul here. But I do think that he's sort of, and he looked decent in the Summer League, I'll say. I think that he's ready, but I don't know if he's going to come here and make a splash. But I think that he could come here and help. Whenever that be, you know, like I think that he'll have some growing pains, but I don't think he'll be out of his element, if that makes sense. Evan saying there's a glaring coaching issues, more so on the fundamentals. I'm giving Ime a little bit more time, but I will say I've seen some of the stuff that I just don't like the Jayson Tatum ISO balls, or some of these rotations / lineups that are out there, or some of the defensive schemes. Like I think that he's definitely still sort of working his way through being a head coach, which I think that's totally fair. By saying Yam's been balling out in the EuroLeague. BP saying, I didn't like the starters playing until the very up with 15 minutes left. Yeah, and tomorrow night, that's me too. So I said the same thing. Dennis Schroeder and Marcus Smart, two guys that like could, you know, we have to rely on those guys pretty heavily. And Schroeder goes for 33 minutes, Marcus Smart 35 minutes, whereas you had Peyton Pritchard 15 minutes. Steven saying, do you think at least have to play Juan and Bruno to see what they bring? Yeah, and that's the same thing with Cantor. Like, Cantor to me has always been a very situational player. And I said it when Brad Stevens was coaching him a couple years ago. I said, you could bring in Cantor for 2 minutes and immediately see if this dude's going to have the impact you want. And if he doesn't, guess what? Put him on the bench. You don't have to be like, oh my God, if we're going to play Enes Cantor, then he's going to have to play 30 minutes. No, bring him in, see if he can help this team. And if not, sit him. Same thing with Jabari. Is Jabari on? Take a jump shot. Do you feel good? If not, all right, now you're going to sit. But all of a sudden, he can go for 20, like randomly. Bruno, you can see the energy. Juancho, it's like the same thing. Like, I'm not saying they should be playing everybody. I'm saying that the guys that aren't playing, and I know Grant went off tonight, but Juancho and Jabari should be right there in terms of playable minutes versus Grant. But if Grant keeps playing like this, then yeah, he is a little bit ahead of those guys, obviously, head and shoulders wise, skill and everything like that. But I'm just saying overall, it's like I do think these guys deserve a chance, and that way you're not trying to play them or trying rotations. Like, this is the beginning of the year. Figure out your rotation. I don't want to see near the trade deadline being like, oh, now let's give Jabari Parker a chance. He rode the pine, he got splinters in his ass all year, but now let's play him. No, this is the one chance you really have to be like, all right, let's play a few ways. You're 1-2 right now. You can experiment for another week, and it's not going to kill you. But you wait longer and wait. All of a sudden, you're going to be kind of caught behind the 8 ball. Gear saying also Ime is working with a whole different assistant coaching staff. Yeah. I'm willing to I'm willing to get the speed bumps out of the way because there's going to be speed bumps. Brian says, I love how when we have a player healthy, we lose. But when we miss our second best player, we win. It is funny. I feel like the Celtics play so much better when one of Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown's injured. It's weird. Steven's saying that Ime's defensive strategy and rotation cost him the first game. Yeah, and I thought he was supposed to be a very intense guy. There's no intensity in the second game either. But it's still, guys, you don't understand. I'm not saying I disagree with anything you're saying about what we're seeing from the coaches, right? But I just say I'm on the boat of, okay, well, it's a little bit too early for me to be like, yep, I want a new coach. That's all I'm saying. Brian says, sometimes I feel like the Celtics are playing for themselves, 100%. Gear says, anybody know if Brad has been at the games in the owner's box or courtside? I haven't seen him or seen in a minute. Yeah, I don't know either. Brian says, wish we had Tice. Yeah, I think Tice could still be good. I hated that he got traded for like monetary reasons too. Late says, do you think Marcus deserves to continue starting? I don't think deserves the right word because I don't think he's been playing too well. Do I think he will continue starting? Yes. Brian says, do you hear about the Celtics China thing? Yeah, the Chinese government or just China in general is like boycotting the Celtics because of Cantor. I heard about it, but I'm a totally like a political dummy, so I don't even remember. I don't really even know what the correlation or like what the context is. I just know that Cantor spoke out about some things and Chinese officials or something got mad. I don't know. I'm going off of tweets, not even like research. Political dummy, self-appointed. All right, guys, I do think we're gonna close down the stream. Gotta get to bed. Gotta wake up early to grind out another picks video for you guys and keep making you guys money. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video as well, and then I appreciate the super chat tonight. Shout out to you, Deshaun, for that. And guys, we will catch you back here tomorrow. We do have the second half of the back-to-back, and I think it's gonna be a really, really fun game to watch because that Charlotte team's good. Like that Charlotte team is better than people think. I don't know if they're going to be like undefeated for much longer or anything like that. Probably not after tomorrow. But like I don't know if they're going to be a top conference type team. But they're sure as hell fun to watch, and we get to watch them tomorrow. But hopefully we can get a dub. Hopefully the Celtics get something going here and sort of, get back to where we want them. So I will catch you guys in the stream tomorrow night. Let's go, Celts. Jaylen, hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully we have a relatively healthy team. Hopefully Romeo's okay. But, yeah, we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. Peace out. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you haven't yet. And, yeah, I think that about wraps up everything I'm trying to plug here. So we'll catch you guys in the next one.